A little bit of Manis trying to screen him off, and actually had a little bit to do with that goal. Yeah, Terry, if we could kind of look at that again, I don't know if we can, but if you can pick it up back there again, you can see what Jungle really did. Maybe we'll pick it up a little later. Terry Lewicki, by the way, directing our game here this evening. All right, Molnar on the right side. There's Jungle in front. B had it stripped that time. He was dangerous again.
All right, this is what makes the Arrows what they are. They can score 2 goals in 30 seconds. You know, this is what the potential for scoring is awesome. And then now Pittsburgh is in a little bit of trouble.
Well, great teams can do that. The Montreal Canadiens do it very well in hockey. Great teams have that potential, that ability to score goals in bunches. Jungle to be knocked away. Trikovic with it, 42 seconds. New York now on top 3-2. Here comes Molnar. Shot off the boards, came off long to Trikovic, sends him running with 35 seconds. And it's 28 seconds of play now as Pittsburgh looks for the tying goal. McKenzie's shot knocked down in front. Rolled out to Julie V with 20 seconds. Watch the skillful Julie V. Gets around McKenzie. Races, Napolitano picks him up, and Manis picks up the ball.
But it's interesting to know that Zungel was there. Zungel was waiting.
That's right. He's always waiting. And now the clock stops with 4 seconds on a foul against Strenicer. Strenicer.
Against New York. Indirect free kick.
Indirect free kick now. That's Adrian Webster. They'll just try to probably lob it in the box and hope somebody will head it in. No, he doesn't. Gives it to McKenzie instead, who now lobs it toward the box. And that is the end of an exciting first half MISL playoff action. The conference final, that's the end of the second quarter, and the score is the New York Arrows 3, the Pittsburgh Spirit 2. We'll be back with our halftime activities in just a moment.
New York Arrows fan club
with Peter Manis, and let's go to that right now.
Girls and all the lovely Saskatoon Arrowheads.
Hello, everyone. I'm with Pete Manis, the Pittsburgh Spirit goalkeeper. And Pete, you're one of the veterans on this Pittsburgh team. Where did you come from? When did you get started?
Well, my hometown's Wilmette, Illinois, Ray, which is just north of Chicago. And started playing soccer in high school, really, when I was 14. And as you say, I'm one of the veterans on this team, but last year was the first year for it, so 2 years, if that makes me a veteran, then that's what I am.
What college did you attend, and where did you come from in terms of college ball?
I played college ball at Northern Illinois University under Dave Bucher. That's in DeKalb, Illinois, located about 60 miles west of Chicago. I don't know how many people know where DeKalb is. But after that, I started in the NASL with San Antonio, which moved to Hawaii in '77, and then a little stint with Dallas and a couple years in the ASL.
And now you're with Pittsburgh.
Right.
Listen, when we look at the Pittsburgh season, we know it's a season that had 2 parts. First, you were the Frogs, sort of mired in the swamps, and then the Princess came along and gave you a kiss, and Pittsburgh turned into a prince. Tell me about that.
Well, that's true. At the time that Len Billows joined us, we were 5-10, and as you say, we were the Frogs. We were up and down. We'd win a game, then lose a couple, then win one, then lose 2 or 3. And really, I don't think we were going anywhere. And Len came in, and lo and behold, we won 13 in a row, and that's a league record to this date anyway.
That's right. Now, tell me, what was the exact difference? In other words, you had one coach, and then you had the team. And then Len Billis and John Kowalski came in. You still had the same team, basically, and then all of a sudden everything turned around. Well, what did they really do? What kind of a magic touch did they have?
Well, you know, as you say, the personnel was the same. Our players didn't really change drastically as far as who they were. What happened was, I think, we had a little direction. They came in very well organized. They had a system of play. They got everybody thinking as one, and as you know, in a team game, that's very important. And we started winning, the momentum picked up, and we were on our way.
Okay, I'm a little bit interested now to ask you about the crowds in Pittsburgh, the fans. Here you were sort of struggling along, and then all of a sudden you began to win. How did the crowds react? What happened in Pittsburgh?
Well, Pittsburgh's a city of champions, as I'm sure you're aware, and they were very excited about that 13-game streak, and attendance did pick up. We hit the 10,000 mark a couple of times, and they're very much behind us. We've got a few people here tonight, so hopefully we can do something for them.
Well, it's windy and it's blowing and it's raining, but the people are filling the arena because anytime Pittsburgh plays the Arrows, it's a real important game. And this one, of course, is probably the most important game next to the championship. And now let's talk a little bit about you. Here you are starting in a game against a big scoring machine.
Right.
What do you think?
Well, we're just going to have to try to shut them down and do what we can to keep the ball out of the net. That's my job, and hopefully our guys are going to put a few in the other end.
Okay, now I know that I came in on the tail end of your pregame talk. What are you going to do? What was supposed to be done a little bit different from the previous game?
Well, we've got a couple ideas that might work against New York. They're very explosive offensively, and we're going to come out flying from the start and just see what happens. Don't want to give you our trade secrets.
Great, no problem. We'll follow up on that. How about the MISL in general? Let's see what are your opinions on the indoor versus the outdoor game?
Well, from the goalkeeper standpoint, of course, it's very exciting. You know, Ray, you're seeing so many more shots. You've got the boards to contend with. Everything's in a tight spot.
You'd say it's a little more exciting.
Definitely.
All right.
I enjoy it.
Great.
I'd like to say happy birthday to my mom if I could.
Okay, super.
All
Thanks
right.
a lot, Jonathan.
All
Let's have a good game.
Thank you.
All right. All right, and we'll return after the following words.
HL hockey this coming Monday. The resurgent Washington Capitals trying to qualify for the Stanley Cup playoffs for the first time ever. They're playing great hockey against the Toronto Maple Leafs, who just the other night knocked off the Philadelphia Flyers 3-0 in Philadelphia. That's this coming Monday night, NHL hockey on the Madison Square Garden Sports Network. Tonight, it's MISL soccer, and standing by, Kyle Rote Jr. with the owner of the defending MISL champions, the New York Arrows.
We're back at halftime, and with our halftime score, the New York Arrows ahead of the Pittsburgh Spirit 3-2. And the gentleman that we're going to talk to at halftime is someone we just about had to beg to come up and talk with us. The reason I say that is that in professional sports, as you know, most owners like to have a very high profile. They like to be seen. They like to be quoted. Everyone, they want to, for the money that they put into it, they want to get something out of it. On the other hand, you have an owner like John Luciani, who, I guess your attitude is low-key. I almost never see you around. I know you're involved with the team, and yet you always take almost a backstage role. Why is that?
Well, Kyle, first of all, I enjoy the half times, like what's occurring down on the floor right now. You got to take a look down there. But no, you're right, I guess. I feel I do most of my work effectively with the team and not necessarily on interviews.
Your team obviously has been successful, undefeated this year at home. Had a great road record, 11-5, the only team in the MISL to be that successful. Did you have anything to do with their on-the-field success?
No, not I, Kyle. I really need to give the credit to Coach Popovich. He is the one that I really rely on to discover talent. He knows talent when he sees it, and I rely on him.
As far as the elements of success that you might be able to pinpoint, every game this year we have looked and we've seen more and more fans want to come into the stadium. Why does that happen? Because we've seen other franchises where that does not occur.
Well, of course, the sport itself, it's exciting, as you know. It's a high-scoring game, and we're building fans steadily. People that we get, at first we had youngsters really dragging their parents. Now it's the parents dragging the youngsters, and we're building a good, solid foundation.
And as we've seen from many of our crowd shots today, just the family-type activities that you have going on here at halftime with all the young kids playing on the field against some of the reserve players on the Arrows. What do we have to look forward to next year? We've talked about expansion. We talked to Ed Tepper and Earl Foreman. What can we expect in New York? Do you expect a team to go into the Garden?
Well, we are in discussions at the moment with a number of people who are thinking and considering about taking the Garden. Of course, as I have said, I would just as soon finish this season before I start thinking about that territory.
But I imagine with the type of rights that are granted to owners in this league, obviously they would have to get your permission to be able to move a club into the Garden.
Yes, that's very true.
Which could be very nice financially, I imagine, as well.
Well, look, when you have a major market, and of course New York is a major market, one of the things that occurs is that the market is large enough for more than one franchise. And of course the costs in operating in such a market, so it has to come someplace.
Well, once again, we congratulate you not only for your success on the field, but for the way in which you run your operation. You talk to the New York Arrows players. They love their owner, John Luciani.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Very much,
We'll be back with more halftime activities.
MISL clubs have done so well. Don't count out that Hartford club. Also, they have some really good management. They've made some big management changes as well. They're hiring some players, some good players, and I know Mr. Chipman up there is going to have a good team. That's a great soccer area. You know that area.
I know that area very well, and it is a great area. And I think one of the unfortunate things for Hartford was that they did not have a home all year. And you can't play without a home, and now they have a home. So I'm looking forward to having Hartford come back strong next year. I think they can do it, because you're right, Jim, it is a great area.
Well, they got some good management people in there now with Chamberlain and young Stuart Foreman. So I think they're going to have an outstanding franchise.
What was nice to see, excuse me, Jim, is when they played their first game back at the newly rebuilt arena, they had over 12,000 fans.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a great sports area, no doubt about it. The Whalers of the NHL have been drawing very well out there. They're great sports fans there. It's a bright future for this league. All right, Leeper with the ball, rolls it back to Manis. Now, should Pittsburgh upset New York in this first game, the series would be tied at 1. We would commence a 15-minute mini game. Now, that's not sudden death. That means we would play the entire 15 minutes. If it was tied at the end of that, we'd go to a shootout. And New York fans know what it is to decide championship games or shootouts.
I have to say that I was there that day against Minnesota. I tell you, it was exciting.
All right, with the ball now. It's New York, and now intercepted by Clive Charles. Charles plays it to Mickey Cave, who scored the first Pittsburgh goal. The Leaper couldn't control it, stolen by Sutevsky. And a hard shot by Cave, and a goal! What a shot! Mickey Cave has scored 2 great goals tonight.
Another great shot by Mickey Cave into the upper far post. Similar situation as in the first half. He chose the far post to shoot for, and this one was in the upper corner. A great effort.
Boy, just a little mistake by Damir Sutevsky. He just didn't recover quickly enough, and Cave made him pay for it.
And again, the same kind of shot with the outside of his foot. The good follow through. Shep was helpless. It was from a far distance, but Shep was helpless because the shot was great. And as we said, the first few minutes of the second half will tell the story. And now I think Pittsburgh's back in it, and it's going to be a barn burner.
Clive Charles got the assist, but what a great effort by Cave. And it's anyone's game again, 3-3. And a foul is going to be called. Luis Alberto knocked to the turf, the AstroTurf. Foul was called on Napolitano. DeRico in now for New York. He's going to take the free kick. DeRico hooks it toward the area, knocked out of there by Napolitano. Comes back in, Adrian Webster, the veteran, the solid defender. Has it knocked away by Tuxen. Napolitano picks it up, clears it across the penalty area. Dangerous. Alberto, good play by Manis. McKenzie, and they're going to call handball against Alberto. Kyle?
Just beginning to look once again at the Arrows' record on the road. Not only do they have 16 straight at home, but that's got to include some games from last year as well. And all of that is in a very precarious position right now as the Spirit has come back and tied this game up with a little over 12 minutes to go in the third quarter.
All right, here's Alberto to Steve Jungle. Jungle with 94 goals on the season, rolls it into the box, but nobody there but Manis. Actually, the 16 straight wins were this year during the regular season, but including playoffs and last season, this club has won 20 in a row here. That's incredible. We use that word a lot in describing New York. But I tell you, give this Pittsburgh club a little bit of credit right here. It's 3-3 playing in their backyard.
Okay, 3 minutes have elapsed in the second half, and Pittsburgh is in the Arrows attacking defensive third. They're attacking, and I think it's going to be a very interesting game.
All right, here's Alberto. Got the pass off, banks off the board, and Webster intelligently knew exactly where that ball was going to come off. That's experience.
That's a hallmark of the Pittsburgh Spirit defense. Experienced, steady players who play their positions well, and they don't take too many goals.
It's also very indicative that in the first 3.5 minutes of the second half, we have not seen Steve Buttle, who was hurt in the late stages of the first half. He's now been on for the first 2 shifts.
Along the same line, we haven't seen Branko Segota either, and I'm
right.
Looking at the bench. He's standing next to Don Popovich, but we haven't seen him, so maybe his hamstring is beginning to act up
Well,
on
Ray,
him.
you remember I commented earlier, Kyle, I really didn't think that he was moving like Branko Segota moves, but the kid's a great competitor, the 18-year-old scoring genius, and you know he wants to play in a big game. Here's Jungle, off the glass and left by O'Hara for Manis.
Interestingly, Segota, though, has his game shirt on, and Buttle, on the other hand, has his warm-up on. And we may not see him the second half.
That'll be a great loss for Pittsburgh because he's a very, very critical player for Pittsburgh's success and has been all season.
Of course, they're playing without Alfie Kahn, who also is injured. Another good goal scorer for them. Julie V. Now to Molnar. Again, the correction, that was not B's goal, the third New York goal. It belonged to Strenicer in the scramble. Fife scrambled the ball away to Charles. Roll it back to Manis. 10:03 to play. Third quarter. It's a 3-3 game. Nice pass. Cave to Leaper. Leaper has it knocked away by Tuxa. Back to Molnar in the New York zone. New York won the first game of this conference playoff final in Pittsburgh last Sunday 5-3 on the strength of 3 Steve Jungle goals. Started quickly here tonight in New York. All they have to do is win this first game. They haven't lost at home this year. They started up 2-0, and then Pittsburgh tied them in the second period 2-2. Strenicer made it 3-2 before the half. But lo and behold, a great shot by Mickey Cave, his second goal of the night, has made it a 3-3 game in the third period. Ball deflected out front again, and Manis lobs it over here, and running is Graham Fife. He's a good goal scorer. Cave in support. Fife, a trip by Chilla. Actually, Chilla didn't try to trip him. It was a great crossover, quick move by Fife, and he actually tripped himself over Chilla's leg.
Exactly. Chilla was beaten on that play, and he just stuck his leg out, and Fife made a nice offensive move.
Let's see what they do with the free kick.
They're trying to screen the goalkeeper, and everybody's moving in front, and they misfired.
Yep. Cave got the ball up.
Yeah.
Arshani got it outside. It was not really a good play. All right, here's Charles in the box. They go outside. The shot, and Messing had to be quick on the Mickey Cave shot again. That time, Cave kept it on the ground, and Messing was up to it. Jungle knocked away by Charles. Clive Charles made the play on the scoring machine.
After the first goal, after the first flurry that Steve Zungel, created in the first quarter, he's been pretty quiet for the remainder of the game, and let's credit Pittsburgh's defense for that, because I know that Steve is very motivated. He wants to win this game and score some goals, but Pittsburgh has effectively shut him out for the good part of that first half and the beginning of this third quarter.
Well, Kyle, Pittsburgh is kind of hung tough here. They went down 2-0. They didn't lose their composure. When they got that first goal, especially by Cave, they seem to really get their composure back again, and they look very dangerous right now. I'll tell you, they could be dangerous before this one is over, too.
And it wasn't but a little less than a week ago when they beat what certainly had to be the most inspired team in the Indoor Soccer League playoffs this year, the Buffalo Stallions, who had a miraculous last week just to get into the playoffs, and yet they beat them 5-3 in Pittsburgh.
That was a good play by McKenzie. Smothered Jungle's shot along the boards. Picked up by Strenicer. Gene Strenicer back to Renato Chilla. New York now attacking. Harshani outside the box. Now they go to V, trying to shield Leaper away. He does, but Leaper made the play, deflected off Harshani. And a whistle. And a pushing foul called against McKenzie of Pittsburgh. Free kick, direct free kick coming up for New York. New York likes to run a guy right through the box, probably Harshani, just hit kind of a side foot deflection on this sort of thing. Let's see if they do it.
Okay, there's Harshani.
Yeah, they can't get him, though. He's marked. Yeah. Pittsburgh knew what they were doing. New York applying pressure now. Harshani off the mark. V couldn't get it on goal. That's a good pass by Webster to get out of the zone to McKenzie. McKenzie, Strenicer slowed him down. 7:03 to play in the third period.
I really appreciate Pittsburgh's poise. They're not being intimidated here by the crowd, or they're not being intimidated by the arrows, and showing good poise and good ball control and causing the arrows problems.
And what happens a lot of times in a game like this is all of a sudden a team as great as the Arrows is going to have to start thinking about Pittsburgh and maybe take them a little more seriously right now. because we're getting to the point in the game. Here comes Jungle. Oh, Manis had to make the save, and Jungle went right over the top. You don't think Jungle wants to win?
I think Jungle is the penetration, the force with which he ran was tremendous. He tried it because Manis was fumbling the ball.
From the corner, Jungle hit the shot low and hard. Manis gets it on it's in his legs right now. He has to come over, so Jungle comes in.
Actually, Jungle kind of tripped when he hit the ball, and that's why he fell over.
And the reason that he was going for the ball, he was going for the ball. It looked like he was going for Manis, but he wasn't. Manis was fumbling the ball. He didn't have control of it, so it was not a unsportsmanlike play by Jungle. He was going for the ball.
All right, here comes Curtis Sleeper now. Pittsburgh attacking Cave on the left side. Cave and a save. Well, I tell you, every time Cave's got a shot, boy, it's right on goal, isn't it? All right, good defensive play by Adrian Webster, who's played quite a game. Harshani bothered by Cave, and they roll it back to Renato Chilla. 6:05 to play in the third period. Tie game at 3. Pittsburgh scored the only goal of the third period. A beauty by Mickey Cave. Streniser got it back in the zone. B. Oh, Manis saves Jungle. What a pass by B. What a save by Manis.
That's just a great sequence right there, offensively and defensively by Manis.
Look at that B. Jungle. Oh. That is skill. That's
skill.
An athlete.
Skill.
Well, turnabout is fair play. V gave the pass between his legs to Jungle the time before. This time, V will play the ball off the boards. It'll come into Jungle. Jungle play it off his foot. Back to V. Finally, V, with the outside of his foot, toes it in. And it's going to put the arrows up by 1.
That's an athlete, boy. That was such a subtle little tap back by Jungle, but to keep his balance, you know, and still be able to hit that shot was incredible.
All right, that's just skill. That's just beautiful skill.
Right.
And the great pressure and the ability to maintain balance and the agility. And it's just the Jungle personified under pressure.
All right, there's a steal now by Molnar. Shot. Good defensive play by O'Hara of Pittsburgh. New York leads 4-3. New York has led 2-0. They've led 2-1. They've led 3-2, and they're leading 4-3. No one's run away with this game yet. 5:10 to play, third period. Clive Charles on the defense with O'Hara. Rolls it to Mickey Cave, who's been on the field a lot tonight. O'Hara rolls it back to Manis, who's played a good game in the goal for Pittsburgh. Molnar, and New York attacks with Alberto to Molnar. Nice pass, shot, saved by Manis. Boy, Manis has thrown his body all over the field here.
Again, ever since that shaky first few minutes, I think he's come up with some real sparklers and kept them in the game.
He's a good competitor, that kid.
Yes, he is. Well, I guess guys from Chicago are supposed to be a little bit tough.
Absolutely.
Hey, Jim?
Oh! It was knocked in inadvertently by Charles. Charles coming back, but there is no own goal, by the way, in indoor soccer at MISL.
So we should see the goal credit, Jim, to Addy Coker in the corner. As Molnar makes the block, and there's Coker, number 11. He'll get it once again. Hits it on the volley. Pass Manis, hits Charles. In slow motion, it looked like he might have had a chance to get out of the way, but he really didn't.
That time, Manis' defense let him down.
Yes, that was not Manis' goal at all. No, Charles was caught flat-footed, leaning on the wrong foot. He was leaning on the foot that the ball struck, and he just couldn't get out of the way. Couldn't get out of his own way, leaning the wrong way, off balance, and an unfortunate goal against Pittsburgh because really, you know, it was one of those scramble goals, but they do occur in the indoor game. Let's give Addy Coker a little bit of credit, too, for the good hustle that he showed.
That's another thing about playing New York. You know, you're playing them well. It's 3-3, but you can't make any mistakes against New York because they make you pay for it.
Yeah.
But good teams do that as well. Messing, throwing it out to Alberto. Shep's a master at that outlet pass. Trost gets back to roll it back to Shep. Jim Carvelos, Ray Clavecca, Kyle Rose Jr. Here comes DeRico. Hard shot. Manis can't find it.
Shot by DeRico.
He made the initial save, the ball spun away and had a wicked spin on it, and that's why he couldn't figure out where it was, but he was very fortunate, and he came down where he could get it. Now Pittsburgh has to maintain possession because the crowd is going a little bit wild, and the arrows are hot. They're sensing a little, maybe they could now put the game away. Pittsburgh has to maintain possession and quiet down the crowd a little bit, quiet down New York.
We'll be back with more MISL action in just a moment. McLaughlin chased all the way back into his own zone by David Butler.
I guess we might see Pittsburgh pressing a little bit now, trying to maybe cause an error and convert a quick goal.
Yes. O'Hara rolls it back to Manis now. If the Arrows win this game, they'll take on Houston on Sunday evening, and you'll see that game over most of these cable systems, the MISL championship game. Curtis Leeper. Trigovic knocked away from behind, but a foul on Val Tuxa. Val says, I know it, I'm sorry.
Tuxa had a great thrill in that game in Pittsburgh, scoring one of the goals for New York. And as we saw DeRico attacking that last challenge, as Gino's holding up his hand once again to hold up play while the teams change. But Ray, I would imagine it's great to see players like DeRico that for the U.S. national team has always played in defense, never really had much of a chance to attack, getting an opportunity in indoor soccer.
Yes, I think it's a great opportunity for him and for so many of the other American players as well.
O'Hara now being chased back into his own zone by Al Trost. All right, here's Clive Charles against McLaughlin. Charles high off the board. Tuxa was there, though, to knock it away from Shep. Long throw for Jungle. Jungle. Nobody there. Tuxa can't get to it. Clive Charles can. And Val steals the ball. That's nothing but effort.
That's just sheer courage and hard work. That's all it was. And I think that Val Tuxa personifies courage and hard work.
Napolitano off his head into the stands. It'll be a kick-in for the Arrows, who have Sutevsky, Jungle, Trost, now Strenicer and Chilla on the defense. Adrian Webster comes in with McKenzie on defense for Pittsburgh. They have Mickey Cave, Napolitano, and Graham Fife up front. Gene DiPolito, the official. Good ground level shot there. You see Strenicer, who scored the third New York goal. Sutevsky, brilliant defender. Oh, great save by Manis.
A very strong shot, but a very, very good save. And Manis seems to have hurt his right shoulder.
Yes,
he seems to be holding it. I hope he's okay.
The reason he's playing is that Alan Mayer, the #1 goalkeeper, has a bad shoulder. Jungle stays on the ball. Off the boards and over the top by Sutevsky. Jungle is a lot quicker than he looks.
Because he saves his quickness for that critical moment. He runs in maybe second or third gear, and then when he has to, he goes into the fourth gear, and the defender's caught a little bit unawares, and he's gone. That's all he needs. And that's, I think, the key to his success, along with his great skill. He's able to accelerate off a very fast run.
That's a real special talent, isn't it, Kyle? Really, those are your dangerous players, not only in soccer, but in football and basketball and any sport. Those players that are able to not give you one pace. They're always going to give you a different look, a different speed. You never clock them.
And in soccer, of course, we have to remember that there are two kinds of speed. One is raw speed, and there's some very fast players, but then you have people like Jungle and V that in a 100-yard run may not beat anybody, but with the ball, they're so fast.
Yes.
They're easily the fastest players in the league. I think probably Jungle is both. He's fast on the field as well as fast with the ball. But my case would be a good example. I'm relatively fast on the run, but not a fast player with the ball.
Mickey Cave gave a fast kick to Sutevsky, and he's going to sit out the next 2 minutes.
13 minutes, 45 seconds.
And that'll be a very slow 2 minutes as far as Len Billis is concerned. Shep Messing now figures, well,
all right,
Pressure's off for a couple minutes. Let's get another one.
If there is going to be a critical moment in the second half, this is it. If Pittsburgh survives, I think they're back in it. If the Arrows score, well, I think then Don Pop is going to be a happy man.
Harshani in the game in Chillum. Excuse me, Kyle. And now a foul is going to be called on Harshani.
Another reason I think this is so critical is that during the regular season, Pittsburgh had the worst penalty killing unit in the league. For some reason, they've have been unable to keep teams from scoring.
It's interesting, isn't it, Kyle, that during the course of the regular game, with the full squad, they do very well defensively, and yet when it's a penalty killing situation, they seem not to be able to put it together.
Well, that's because they have a man less. That's too logical. All right, and the save by Manis. Manis is going to be a tired guy by the time this game is over.
Right.
Well, this is the score that New York beat Pittsburgh in game one of the playoff, 5-3. I doubt whether it's going to be the final score tonight. Schiller to Harshani, 17 seconds to play in the quarter. Ball off the back of O'Hara of Pittsburgh, 11 seconds. Sutevsky, 10. In the box, go! Great pass. Great pass, Sutevsky. Right on the money.
Great pass by Sutevsky and a great ball by B. But Art Napolitano was caught looking away. Look at Art. He was caught out of position. You know, he let Julie V get in behind him, and he knows it. Look at his face. He knows it. The rule is you don't let the offensive man get behind you like that. Hart turned his head. Julie V got behind him. Result, a great goal for the Arrows.
2 goals for Julie V tonight. And it's now 6-3. The Arrows all of a sudden have scored 3 goals in a couple of minutes. Boy, they have really exploded. And that is the end of the third quarter with a score now. The New York Arrows 6.
Forward, and Butler is definitely one of the people that makes them go. And let's see what happens. Let's hope that he's okay. It's interesting to note, though, that the Arrows have scored at the critical times, early in the quarter and at the end of the quarter, and have turned the game around.
Yes, good point. Dorico in there, along with B and Jungle and Alberto and Tuxa wide open. They're going to 2-on-1 if he can hurry up and get it in front. There it is. Go! They had a 2-on-1. I didn't know if he could get it to Jungle in time, but he could.
He did. And it's just, I think, a mental error by the Pittsburgh team again. And again, they got a goal early in the quarter. They seem to be having difficulty getting started the first 2 or 3 minutes. And it hurt them again.
Well, with Pittsburgh playing a man-to-man defense, they're subject to an overlap. And in that case, Tuksha, coming from behind as a defender, came around the outside, the back, got one-on-one, pulled a defender to him, got the ball to Jungle, and Jungle doesn't miss him from that distance.
And I'll tell you what, I don't know who made the pass to Tuksha. It might have been Dorico, but that was a great pass. That set it up. That gave him a 2-on-1 advantage.
Dorico probably will not get the credit in terms of, you know, in the assist, but in terms of the game.
A goal! Oh. From Jungle. And this is vintage New York Arrows. They've just blown this game wide open.
All right, Jimmy's Fort. All right. There's Val Tux's hustle. Zungel draws everybody to him, and Julie V's all alone.
You know, with about 6 minutes to go in the third period, this was a 3-3 game. It's now 8-3. 3 goals for V, a hat trick. So Jungle had the hat trick of the first game in Pittsburgh. V, Julie V right here, gives New York a hat trick here tonight. 8-3 New York. And they're looking forward to Sunday now against Houston.
Again, let's give credit to Val Tuxa because he won an important duel along the boards. Will not get credit for the assist. Won an important ball and gave it to Zungel. So again, the defenders are winning some important balls at midfield to create chances for the forwards.
Now, Ray and Kyle, we're talking about some of the clubs in the league. Pittsburgh got off to an awful start this year. They fired their coach, Alex Pringle. They brought in Len Billis. All he did was win 13 straight games. As we look at the Central Division, in Houston beat Wichita in a tough 2-game series for those Wings. really came on strong late in the year. They were one of the toughest clubs in the league to beat. Jungle, go!
Unbelievable, isn't it? Talk about their ability to put the ball into the net.
And we've just set a new playoff record for time elapsed with 3 goals. V with the hat trick. Now Jungle adds number 20 this season. Deflection. Manis was not really out of position, had a good position, but the ball deflecting off the defender.
That's right.
With topspin sinking as it went over his head.
If the ball would have been hit with any kind of force, Manos had it. It had that kind of top spin and it was dipping, and Manos had no chance for it.
For the scoring machine, number 7, Steve Jungle.
Jungle has made it 9-3. Now get this. Jungle has played in 5 playoff games in his career in the MISL. He's had at least a hat trick in all those games. That's his 20th hat trick of the year. You got to be kidding me. 3 goals in 32 seconds, was it?
That's right. Well, it's vintage arrows, I guess.
Oh,
vintage
yeah.
Jungle.
Well, now I really bet that Cooper didn't make the trip with his team. I don't know if they wanted to see that. Look at Julie V.
Yeah, Julie's showing his ability to handle the ball under pressure.
Here's Tuxa, V, and Jungle are running. Shot. Oh, good leg save by Manis. That was on its way into the corner.
Because he had Manos leaning the wrong way, because he showed him the inside of the foot in the last moment, shot it with the outside of his foot, but Manos reacted well and made a very good kick save.
13:05 to play in the game. New York has exploded. Tuxa, Manis knocked it away. Alberto off the glass. Sutevsky off the hand of Manis. A good save. In front. Look at New York. You think they were down 9-3. Trigovic. And now a foul is going to be called against McLaughlin. McLaughlin fouling Al Partenheimer, number 29, into the game for Pittsburgh.
Manis on the other end of the field looks totally shell-shocked. He's just been shaking his head. I don't know how he's been able to hang in there the way he has.
Well, again, you know, I really not making any, not trying to defend Peter in any way. I think he's played well. His defense really let him down because most of these goals, the last 3 or 4 goals.
The last 3 goals, he had nothing to do with them. He was just there.
Of course, not many goalkeepers will stand up to Steve Jungle and Julie V.
Inside the box.
That's right.
Tickets will also be available at the Coliseum during the day tomorrow.
Long throw.
Location.
Here comes Chris Furman in front, trying to get it to Partenheimer. No go. Furman stays on the ball. Charles, it's a low shot. Look at that quick reflexes by Messing. He really got quickly to his left, didn't he?
A strong shot by Charles, but Shep read the ball and he went down very well to his left. Again, those low, hard balls are tough for goalkeepers, but Shep reacted very well.
All right, that's an offside call. The ball traveled over the 3 lines on the field in the air. And we'll have a direct free kick.
Looks though, Jim, as though Billy Michelot, the backup keeper for Pittsburgh, will be coming onto the field to replace, as once again I said, our shell-shocked Pete Manis, who really has had a courageous game. Michelot, who played at the University of Alabama at Huntsville, All-American down there, has been the 3rd keeper this year for this team. Most indoor soccer teams have had to use a multitude of keepers. Philadelphia has used over 5. And as we said earlier, fortunately, New York has only really had to use Shep.
Ray, doesn't Michelot have a brother that played a defender? Michelot?
The name is familiar. I think so. I'm not sure now.
I believe Washington drafted him. I'm not sure, but I believe he does have a soccer-playing brother. All right, the championship game will be here in the Nassau Coliseum, and it'll be Sunday night.
fine goalkeeper.
All right, the PA announcer is now giving credit to Peter Madison, the very good fans here in New York who are in a very good mood right now. Give them a nice round of applause as Shep Messing discusses things with the referee.
Well, he's discussing a 2-minute boarding penalty against McLaughlin.
There's a penalty.
All right, we'll be back with more MISL action in just a moment.
2 minutes for boarding. Time of the penalty is 3 minutes, 38 seconds.
All right, in the Atlantic Division, New York with an unbelievable 27-5 record, 11-5 on the road, 16-0 at home. Pittsburgh 9 games away, 18-14, and 13 of those were in a row. McKenzie's shot is knocked down. Now it's Pittsburgh for the second time tonight with a man advantage. They had a man advantage earlier after they tied the game at 2-2. That could have been a turning point, too, because they could have had a chance to take the lead there. They never did. They've never led in this game, by the way, Pittsburgh. And by the way, they haven't beaten New York this year either. New York's beaten them every time they played. Long throw for Sutevsky, and Michelot takes no chances. He knocks it away. And a nice pass to McKenzie. Here comes McKenzie. Fight. To Sutevsky with 10:37 to play.
Okay, again,
New York working off a penalty, right?
Yeah, again, the arrows are showing the, error by Stranitzer, but Shep makes a great play.
And again over the top. Instead of trying to chip it over Shep, who was down,
Yeah,
Butler trying to nail it.
Yeah.
Header by Graham.
Miscued a little bit, leaning back and miscued, and the ball went over the top. But again, New York is trying, instead of just to clear the ball out on the power play, they're trying to maintain possession and run the clock, and that's the hallmark of the New York game. They want their skill to play for them. And
you know, Shep Messing was playing a little game with Molnar. He was really trying to counter the defense. He was telling him to move over to the left, and then when Molnar went over there, Shep kicked it to the right, hoping that Molnar might read that. New York needs another goal, and they need a hole in the head anyway at this point.
But you want to know something? They're very competitive. They want that goal, and they'll be going for it once this power play is over. And I think it's very important now for Pittsburgh to maybe get on a board and sort of break the New York rhythm and break their momentum.
Well, Ray, you know this better than Kyle and myself as a coach. A coach wants them to keep playing anyway. Yeah, they got another game here Sunday.
Absolutely.
He doesn't want them to ruin their rhythm, and they want them to keep playing soccer.
Let's keep going forward. Let's do the things that we're supposed to be doing. Let's do all the good things.
Off the boards and almost a tip-in by Stranitzer, who was coming across the goal mouth. That was a good feed.
Yes.
Interestingly, on the field right now, we have 4 players that defected from Hungary at one time or another, in Molnar, Stranitzer, and Harshani.
Yes. Who's the other one?
And Shep Messing. I figured I'd help you out, Kyle.
Actually, Julie V is the other New York player. New York has 4 players that have done that. But the 3 on the field are Harshani, Stranitzer.
Altros with Michelot off the boards, and the chip over the top by McLaughlin, who's out of the penalty box.
McLaughlin just half volleyed it, got underneath it with a better technical execution. I think that's a goal.
Don't forget the tickets for the championship.
A good run by Al Trost, though. You know, he made a very nice run down the left side, and Al has been getting some spot time, and every time he comes in, he does a very credible job. He's not one of the great stars, but he comes in, he gives us 30 seconds or a minute or whatever he's on for, does a very credible job, and he's one of the players that makes New York happen.
Well, they have a term for those kind of players in England. They call them good, honest players. And good teams have a lot of good, honest players. Here's Chilla, Renato Chilla, high off the glass, and Harshani ran into Michelot. That's some collision. Surprised he's getting up. He's not up yet.
Michelot showed quite a bit of courage in going for that one because Harshani was coming.
Well, he's fighting it off. He's up now. He doesn't look too ginger, but he's ready. All right, Curtis Leeper of Pittsburgh now. We have 8:25 to play in this conference championship in the Atlantic Division, and it looks like New York is going to beat Pittsburgh 2 in a row. They have a 9-3 lead here with 8:20 to play. And now we have another foul going to be, a penalty going to be called, and Messing had to run out and intercept Stranitzer. Here's where Michelot got hit by Harshani.
He fell in an awkward kind of a way. He fell with very little body control, and I think he may have banged himself and knocked the wind right out of him, because he really went down in a very awkward way.
And if I remember, Michelot had an early season knee surgery, and so falling like that on his legs, holding his knee the way he was, it may have been a re-injury of that knee that's already had surgery this year.
Gene DiPolito was awarded a 2-minute penalty to Strenicer of New York. 9-3 the score. Let's look ahead a little bit to Sunday night.
Yeah,
At Houston Club with Hoskivi and Anderson, they've got a pretty talented team.
Yes, they do. And the last time that Houston was in here, perhaps one of the great games of MISL was played with that 3-2 win, where Zungel won the game for the Arrows in the last 30 seconds or so. The score was 3-2, and it was a tremendous, tremendous game. So I'm looking forward to Houston coming in here and playing some of that very good defense and having a similar game.
In front, Messing made the play and over the top. In that game, by the way, Houston was leading 2-1 with a little over a minute and a half to go, so New York really had to pull that one out.
And there was a key penalty called against Jimmy Palahan, and then Zungel took the penalty and tied it up. And then he scored again right near the end of the game, and the goalkeeper in the goal at that time was Zeppi Gottenheimer, their backup, and he did a great, great job for Houston. So all in all, it was just a very, very fine game, and I think maybe one of the best played in the MISL this year.
So that's what we have to look forward to this Sunday evening right here in the Nassau Veterans Coliseum. We know you'll want to be on hand over most of these cable systems on the Madison Square Garden Sports Network. All right, Pittsburgh coming out of their own zone with 7:45 to play in the game. Clive Charles, Partenheimer. Some kid was blocking Klavecka's view. He hit him with a bullseye, hit him with a program or something. The kid just went home.
I hit him right between the shoulder blades, but I didn't really hurt him.
Kyle called a 2-minute penalty on Klavecka.
Good thing Gino wasn't looking.
Ray, you can't talk for 2 minutes. All right, here's McKenzie of Pittsburgh. Partenheimer high off the glass. Luis Alberto, and he's fouled by McKenzie. A little bit of frustration for Pittsburgh.
You took the words right out of my mouth. You might say that's a foul of frustration. McKenzie's just frustrated, playing his heart out all game, knows that pretty much it's a little bit out of it now, and they just want to get on the boards, and they're having a hard time getting a goal. Pittsburgh wants to score. You know, they're professionals. They have pride, and they want to go out of here with their heads up. I think with a goal, they can walk out of here with their heads up.
Yeah, I agree. Well, again, give them credit for what they did this year. They had a 13-game winning streak. That's going to be tied tonight, by the way. Because after New York wins this game, it'll be 13 straight for them. But they really made a great comeback this year. There were some great stories in the MISL this year. Pittsburgh and Buffalo, the way they came on. The Houston club, which held in. They had some terrible injuries, Kyle, this year.
Yeah.
And another 2-minute penalty is going to be called.
There was a penalty really of frustration once again.
Yeah,
just as Ray was talking about.
It's just unfortunate.
Right, the ball had been there against the boards, and he kicked his heel back, Fife, after the whistle had already been called, just in frustration, and he's going to get,
There's a penalty.
I would imagine, for ungentlemanly conduct.
That's exactly right, ungentlemanly conduct.
Number 14, Graham Fife.
All right, so the teams now are at equal strength.
Sportsmanlike conduct.
But for a minute
Time of the penalty,
35 or so, New York's going to have a man advantage.
Fife.
Unless someone scores a goal here, either way.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Right now they're at equal strength. Tuxum, Dorico. Back to Tuxum. Jungle, boy, he was cutting through the box, and Tuxum hit him with a really good pass.
Corner kick, New York.
Corner kick, New York. New York's going to have a man advantage in about 5 seconds. And they'll have it for a minute 35. Dorico missed the mark. All right, now Strenicer will come out of the penalty box, so New York will have that man advantage we were talking about with a minute 30.
And the man on is Julie V, which is, again, it's a tough way for Pittsburgh to go.
Pittsburgh's hurt. If they get hurry, they'll have a 2-on-1. Hartenheimer didn't hurry, though, and he made a bad pass.
Yeah. Sort of tentative in his pass.
Yeah.
He hesitated.
Here's V. Well, Segota didn't play much tonight, but V picked up the slack for him with a hat trick. 2 hat tricks. Jungle, what's new, and Julie V. Sutevsky fires goal.
I'm sure Michelot had been screened on that one because the shot was not that hard. It was placed well, but the defenders racing out to try and block the shot did not get a piece of it, and Michelot undoubtedly was screened.
A man advantage goal. There it is.
It looked like it went through 2 Pittsburgh defenders, and Michelot really was awkward in going down. That means that he just didn't see it. Not Michelot's fault at all.
First goal of the playoff.
The Arrows led 3-2 at the half. They've outscored Pittsburgh 7-1 in the second half to win convincingly.
The assist to number 8, Louis Alberto.
All this club has done in regular season and playoffs is won 29 after tonight and lost 5. And some of those 5 games were tough games. They lost an overtime game to Buffalo, didn't they? They lost another tough game to Buffalo, a 1-goal game.
Yeah, and they lost early in the season to Hartford, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
Hartford beat them by the 1 goal.
Can you imagine these guys could have gone through the season undefeated? I think I heard somebody say at one point in the season that they had the best percentage of any professional team in any sport in America.
I think they're keeping that record intact.
Yes, they are. McLaughlin. Julie V is open, a little behind him. Julie. Well, I tell you, he is magic with the ball. 4:45 to play in the game. The Arrows by 7. It was a tight game. It was 3-3. Here's V. Give and go. Just missed. Nice little give and go with V and Sutel. Look at Julie. Look at him. Look at the pass, and a great save by Michelot. I mean, you couldn't do better with your hands. Come on. He's incredible with his feet.
You look at Popovich's face, he still seems to be concerned. Pop, it's okay. It's 4 minutes to go. The score is 10-3. But that's Popovich's style. It's never over until it's over, and I think that's what most coaches, that's how most coaches look at it. They want that final whistle to blow, and then they relax.
Look at Jungle. Look how strong he is. McKenzie was bumping him and holding him and grabbing him, and he stayed in the ball. Now Molnar, Tibor. Jungle, little touch to Chilla. Renato fires. Oh! Hit the underside of the crossbar and came out. What a shot by Chilla.
That had goal written all over it. It's just fortunate for the Pittsburgh team that it didn't go in, because nobody had a chance at that one.
All right, here's Jungle. Broken up. Nice play by Charles. And back to Michelot. New York still playing hard, still chasing the ball. Kyle?
Well, they know how hard this game Sunday night is going to be against Houston, and to have the confidence and the old trite word momentum going into the game, it's important that they keep playing well.
I want to thank a lot of behind-the-scenes people. Len Billis there in the blue jacket. He's a Pittsburgh coach and did such a fine job with this Pittsburgh club this year. No, you can't take that away from him.
And he's still coaching. He's still looking at the line changes. He's still looking at matchups, and he's doing his job. He's a professional coach. His team is a little bit out of it, but you're in it until the whistle blows, and that's how Lenny's playing it.
We should congratulate Lenny on being named Coach of the Year,
right.
Co-Coach of the Year in the MISL.
Steve Jungle, the most valuable player with the ball along the left boards. Oh, what a bullet.
Good positioning by Michelot, though. He stood there and he never moved. It was right at him, so that tells us that his angle was good. He picked up the right angle and made a good save.
I want to thank the behind-the-scenes people who do such a marvelous job out here. Our technical crew, the camera work was terrific. Jerry Lewicki did a fine job directing tonight's telecast. Harlan Singer and Gary Dubin, terrific job putting it together, producing it. And, of course, thank you to Ray Clavecca, one of the bright young American coaches in the country, and to Kyle Rowe Jr., my partner all year long, and a guy that probably did as much for promoting the game of soccer in America than any other American. I thank you for a great year, and I'm not going to say goodbye because you don't have to get on a plane to be here Sunday. Just stay away from the airports, Kyle. We'll be on Sunday night over most of these cable systems. It should be something. Houston and these New York Arrows. The Arrows will try to win their second consecutive championship in the MISL, and Houston with upset in mind. Here comes Zutevsky. The pass for Jungle deflected. And here's Adrian Webster. A minute and a half to play in the game.
In that game last night, Jim, Hoskevy, the 4 goals that Houston scored, he had 3 of them. And some of the most incredible goals like Jungle might score. It's going to be quite a matchup between the top scorer of Houston and the top scorer of the New York Arrows Sunday night.
Well, Hoskevy did a great job in the 3-2 game that the Arrows won the last time. I mean, he was really a potent force out here, and I'm sure that he'll be the same again. I mean, it was a pleasure watching him play in that game. He's really a fine indoor player.
Well, Houston has something to prove, too. You know, last year they won the divisional championship, won the league championship, and then were upset in the playoffs by Philadelphia. I think they want a shot at that title. They're going to have it off the glass. 40 seconds to play in the game. Hey, we've got 2 pretty good goalkeepers showing up here Sunday night, too.
Really do. Mick Poole of Houston, who was the second in the MVP balloting in the All-Star game. And, of course, the man we've been watching all night, Shep Messing of the Arrows. Last year's MVP in the playoffs as he led his team to the first major indoor soccer league championship.
I'm grinding down to 18 seconds to play. Messing a long throw for Tuxa with 13. Al Trost will pick it up with 9. With 8. They're counting it off with 7. Trost tried to chip it in the corner over there. Here's a shot in front. Shot!
On the floor, on his back, he still wants to score. And that's what makes Steve Zungel the scoring machine. With exactly 1 second to go in a game, scored 10-3. Zungel is fighting for position, and he gets it sitting down. He scores every which way, and that's Steve Zungel.
I'll tell you, you really have to be impressed with New York's wanting to continue to play, even though they've had this game won for 15 minutes. They just like to play soccer.
It's either that or professionalism, or they're being paid by the goal.
And that's it. That's it. New York, a convincing second-half performance that saw them outscore Pittsburgh 8-1. They win the Atlantic Conference Championship. They qualify to play Houston right here in Long Island Sunday evening for the championship of the Major Indoor Soccer League. That's the end of the ball game. The final score: the Arrows of New York 11, the Spirit of Pittsburgh 3. We'll be back with a wrap-up in just a moment.
The #1 star of tonight's game.
You're the Pepsi generation, the spirit of today. And with every taste of life that's
championship of the Major Indoor Soccer League. It was a good game until there were 6 minutes remaining. With 6 minutes remaining in the third period, it was 3-3. I remember the 3 of us commenting on how anything could happen. Pittsburgh's poise was terrific. They were, I think, unnerving New York a little bit. At least I thought they were. And then all of a sudden, New York just exploded. Exploded 3 goals in 32 seconds to set a record. And all of a sudden, it wasn't a ball game anymore.
I think that's the key. I think all year New York was the kind of a team that had the ability to score at any moment and did that in bursts and spurts throughout the entire season. Things stayed true to form. They needed a burst. They went to their veterans, and V and Zungel are the money players, and they came out and they didn't score.
Hi, Jim Carvelis, Kyle Rowe Jr. and Ray Clavecca. Hi, Kyle. You've seen this Houston club a lot. You live in Houston. You know a lot about them. You know a lot of the players. Can this club come in here and give New York all it wants in the big game Sunday night?
A little-known event that happened a few weeks ago, something Ray mentioned, the 3-2 loss. They were ahead 2-1 with 1 minute and 47 seconds to go. Houston is one club that has confidence that they can beat New York at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. And by the fact that they're spending all the extra money to bring their players in tonight to watch this game, and the style of coach that Kenny Cooper is, you can be assured there's going to be a game plan that they're going to take to the tee.
Ray, what's your quick comment on that?
I think that I am, after watching that game 3-2, and I was very impressed by Houston's play. I think that they're one of the few teams that match up very well, and I'm looking for a very, very big game Sunday night.
And we'll have that big game over most of these cable systems on the Madison Square Garden Sports Network. The MISL Championship game Sunday night. Hope you enjoyed tonight's game. We'll see you Sunday night. So long, everyone.